Lian Buan, senior investigative reporter, joins us live from The Hague. Lian?
You just heard the closing statements of the prosecution and the victims, and I can tell you what was not visible on camera, which is that merong audible reaction yung public gallery when Julian Nichols, the trial lawyer, began to start by addressing his friend, Nicholas Kaufman. They've been addressing that to each other ever since the hearings began. And when he said, "I'd like to thank him," and it's the first time he's saying that, because everything he just said just proves this case moves to trial. Meron talagang audible reaction from the public gallery, particularly to my left, where the human rights advocates and the victims are seated. We are reminded that we are actually just at the pretrial stage of these proceedings. The threshold is lower. It's just substantial grounds to believe. So merong pag-sit up yung mga human rights advocates, because we were discussing with each other during break how yung pagpresenta ni Kaufman ng mga police reports to boost his case may be appreciated very starkly differently between Filipinos and for foreigners who have no familiarity whatsoever dun sa kaso. Pag tinignan mo nga naman na pre-present ang mga documents, mga police report, kung wala kang familiarity sa Pilipinas, ay masasabi mong oo nga naman may ebidensya ang defense. So there was also a sigh of relief among the human rights advocates when immediately Julian Nichols said that they will show in trial that these police reports were often falsified. We can remember Nick Kaufman also yesterday saying na yung mga supposedly incriminating evidence against President Duterte have exculpatory parts. For example, the speeches where he says, "Kill and I will promote you." He will also say, use force only in self-defense. He also said that in the same memorandum in circulars where it says neutralize, it also says follow human rights and the rule of law. Julian Nichols said that in his experience with Kaufman at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ganun din naman, lahat naman daw ng written order na bumaba ay nagsasabi na follow the Geneva Convention, follow the treaty, but that all of them meant nothing because they were merely part of a cover-up. And that's, I think, something that Attorney RP could attest to, because they did a study at the Ateneo Human Rights Center that studied the corrective measures or the corrective circulars that sought to correct the flaws and the legal errors of PNP CMC 16, 2016. And then we moved on, the hearing moved on to the closing statement of the victim's legal representative, Gilbert Andres. Again, yung nag-prompt ng reaction is when Attorney Andres said that the victims want this case to move to trial because the victims want to move out of the shadow of fake news. And that's something that's been a persistent problem since we got to The Hague. The victims are visibly worn. Their advocates and the people assisting them have assembled into some sort of like a voluntary human security, making sure na yung mga biktima ay hindi na-videohan at napipicturan ng mga taong hindi nila kilala and presumably supporters of the president. Yesterday, like I saw, there was almost an entire human barricade protecting them, and these advocates telling to the supporters of President Duterte na wag na natin silang picturean dahil ma-AI na naman, ma-fake news na naman. So it's been a tense couple of days. It's been a tense week. It's been a very heavy week, emotional week for the victims especially.
Lian, ang dami nga nangyari, no? The last phase of presentation of the defense, anong reaction sa gallery? So the hearing today started with that. What was the reaction in the gallery and among the victims?
Yung unang part, yung segment ni Kaufman, mas nakita ko yung reaction from foreigners. They were quite impressed that there were really police reports that being shown. Kaya talagang nag-worry ng koonte yung mga human rights advocates. Kaya nung sinabi talaga ni Julian Nichols that these reports are actually falsified, mararamdaman mo na buti na lang sinabi niya yun kaagad.
Yung kay Julian Nichols, no, when he played that rather long excerpt, no, ano naman ang impact dyan sa gallery?
The supporters of the president were they had a face that they felt uneasy watching it. Hindi uneasy, parang it's a sad face. Hindi sila nakangiti. It's not something na supportive of it, ngumingiti, parang almost boasting of it. Parang makikita mo rin naman na they didn't like what they were seeing, not because they don't like what they're hearing, but because maybe they think that the president is being portrayed in a negative way.
And before we hear from Attorney RP and Jairo, they might have questions for you also. One last question for me. Yung kay Gilbert Andres naman, no? Were you expecting him to actually have more of a legalistic closing statement, 10 rebuttals, no? Which actually were quite important, but was that expected?
Honestly, like for my point of view, whenever we go into these hearings, I really do expect the victims' representatives to just focus on the views of the victims, because after all, that's their role. It's really the prosecution's role to provide evidence. But then again, Attorney Gilbert Andres and Attorney Joel Butuyan can't help it. Sila talaga yung lawyer from day one. Gilbert Andres made it a point yesterday na actually yung Supreme Court petition na sinasabi ni Kaufman, we filed that. That's Danyo and Almora in the Supreme Court. So yung kanilang foreign counterpart, si Paulina Masida of the OPCV, would always say, it's not our job to provide the evidence. That's the role of the prosecutor. But then again, having known center law and Attorney Andres and Attorney Butuyan, they just can't help because they know the drug war case at the back of their head.
Attorney RP.
Oh, Lian, it's nice to see you there and nice to hear from your reaction coming from dun sa gallery, no? I was wondering kasi tayo dito sa Pilipinas, nakakausap natin parati yung mga victims, and I am sure they're very much elated na finally, no, they are being heard, they are being seen, their cases are actually being considered now, no? May mga nakausap ka bang mga victims na syempre ang ayaw nating mangyari din dito, 'di ba? Mga false hopes, 'di ba? Pero essentially, no, ano yung I'm sure happy sila, pero ano ang mga initial reaction ng mga victims nung nakatungtong na diyan, nakita nila yung hustisya umuusad talaga?
RP talaga, nung day one, it's really an emotional, the emotions were running high on behalf of the victims. First, positively, because may nakausap nga ako, parang sabi niya, parte ng kanyang pag-iyak ay pride na Pilipino yung nagre-represent sa kanya. And they said, napatunayan nila na tama yung desisyon ng kampo ng mga human rights advocates na ang pagsalitain ay dalawang Pilipino and not just Paulina Masida. Pero sobrang visible, RP, yung stress nila this last 5 days. I mean, nakausap ko kanina during break yung isa na interview ko sila, and when I interviewed them, I mean, I know these people, right? So okay kami, okay mag-interview, but they just told me kung pwede na bang burahin yung kanilang mga video because the harassment has been severe over the last couple of days, and of course we have to adhere to that request. So yung they're really visibly tired and worn and very stressed. And we know why. We have seen all the harassments and fake news online.
Oo. Kanina nga, pinag-uusapan namin yung mga wami dun sa victims. Tapos na-realize ko nung nagkukwento si Jairo about yung correction ng isang record ng death certificate that took 9 years. Ang realization ko, triple wami pa pala. Ngayon na binimension mo na yung risk sa safety nila. Nakita natin recently yung kumalat na AI photo, no, na ginawang naka-designer bag sila. From your observation there, meron bang mga safety issues dun sa kabila naman? Kasi two sides yan, di ba? Kasi meron bang perceived threat? May takot ba dun sa mga supporters ni former President Duterte?
I talked to one of them yesterday, isa sa mga more prominent vloggers with huge following. Parang ang concern lang naman nila ay yung Duterte Street sa harap ng prison complex ay wag nang puntahan kung hindi ka naman sumusuporta sa dating Pangulo. Like that's all they ask, parang leave this space to us. And then I asked them kasi parang sinabi ni Attorney Butuyan and sinabi rin nung isang biktima si Shira Escudero that they're so anxious walking around the city. I myself is also very anxious kapag nagbabas ako at nagcha-tram ko. So I mean, you never know. We were all at a certain extent recognized. So tinanong ko sa kanya na anong nararamdaman mo na yung mga biktima ay natatakot, and they keep saying wala naman silang dapat ikatakot at baka yung threat na nararamdaman ng mga biktima ay perceived lang nila, but having experienced that myself, I wouldn't think that it's a perceived threat. And even then, even if it's a perception of threat, it's still a valid emotion to feel afraid for your safety when you're walking down a city where you know there are a lot of people who do not believe in you.